Quinn, we are back with another reaction video. We are back reacting to a video about South Africa, and this one is about the tribes of South Africa, the people of South Africa. So let's dive into this video and let's learn something. And then if you're from one of these tribes or you know more about this, I would love to talk to you. I'm throwing it out there. I would set something up. I would love to talk to you. So let's jump into this video and let's learn something.
San, South Africa's indigenous non-black ethnic group, and I'll tell you why in the end of the video. And this group, San, South Africa's indigenous non-black ethnic group, and I'll tell you why in the end of the video. And this group represents South Africa's oldest human group for over 100,000 years, and yet they are the least represented in the politics or most of the affairs in their aboriginal countries, which this is wrong because, of course, I can say numbers, and they are outnumbered and outbred by the Bantus in their ancestral homeland, such as South Africa, Namibia, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Botswana, all the way to southern Kenya. This is due to factors such as the Bantu expansion, European colonization, and their nomadic lifestyle. This is a group that is divided into 7 groups, which can either belong to the original Khoisan ethnic groups and the assimilated and mixed Khoisans. And before we start, let's explore the uniqueness of these people. Khoisan are built on a finer, shorter, more graceful scale than Europeans usually are, a natural gymnast as opposed to the natural rugby player. Mind you, their thing is mind-blowing physical endurance. You will not outrun a San Bushman. You will not outsprint him, or you will not out-marathon him. These kind have been running their prey to earth for over 600,000 years, and it shows in their physique. Their eyelids have epicanthic folds exactly like Mongoloids, which are slit eyes. Not just that, their face look also Mongoloid, and their build is also Mongoloid. But the Khoisan are not in the Mongoloid subgroup. They are in a unique group called the Capoid. Newborn Khoisan babies for a short while have a dark patch just over their tailbone, just like Mongolians. It's called the Mongolian spot. It ultimately fades, but I have not seen it on a Mongolian baby, but I've seen it on a Khoisan baby. The fact is, the only thing marking them as especially distinct from the Mongoloids is their peppercorn hair. 1 in 5 of the hairs on their scalp is tightly curled into little knots. Their other hair, as you can see them, are downy hairs, colorless, short, straight, and fine. Other African races not all have this kind of hair, but also they have acquired it from intermarrying into Khoisan bloodlines. And other peculiarities, Caucasoids and Negroid women build up fat reserve on the outside thighs. Khoisan women, on the other hand, have steatophagia. That is, their fat is built up just on their butt cheeks. And this amazed the European so-called scientific imperialists at that time and resulted into the dehumanization and fetishization of the Khoisan women. And lastly, everyone agrees that black don't crack, but that is not the case to the old Khoisan people. Their edge skin are very, very wrinkly. And so that said, let's look into the Khoisan communities. The Khoisan community is a group that is divided into 7 subgroups, which can either belong to the original Khoisan.
He said that there's that their skin crack. Is it because they're in the sun mostly of their life? If this is a tribe that's out there, and most of us live in shelter, we're not in the sun a lot. And I just something I want to add to it, but I lost it. But the sun does wrinkle skin a lot. Is that something that he's trying to say, or he just said that no matter what, they go from looking young to just one day skin is cracking?
Khoisan groups, or the assimilated and mixed Khoisans. So let's start with the original ones. Let's start with the Khoi. The word Khoi, from the word Khoi from the Khoisan. The term Khoi is derived from the Nama word for people. The Khoi are farmers, but the San are hunter-gatherers. They have a huge amount of genetic variation within themselves, but haven't mingled much with outsiders for possibly 100,000 years. So, they have some local oddities. They have peppercorn hair, unlike other Africans. Their skin has a khaki tinge, and their faces are an odd mix of African and Japanese people. The Khoi people are primarily found in South Africa, Namibia, and Botswana, although their population have significantly declined over the years due to various historical factors, including colonization, dispossession of their lands. Unlike the San Bushmen, they are known for their nomadic and pastoralistic way of life, traditionally herding livestock such as cattle and sheep. The Khoi people have a unique cultural practices, languages, and belief system. Some Khoi communities speak languages from the Khoisan language family, which are characterized by their use of click consonants. Historically, the Khoi had encountered with European explorers, including the Dutch, in the 17th century. These encounters led to conflicts and eventual colonization of their lands. The Khoi people faced significant oppression, displacement, and loss of their cultural heritage during the colonial period. But the good news is, in today's time, efforts are being made to recognize and preserve the cultural heritage of the Khoi people.
Since 2020, we have gone into looking at the tribal structure. Now, in the Western Cape, we've got 8 tribes. The Khorokhokhwa is one of those tribes, and then we have the Khokhokwa, the Khoranaikwa, the Khainakwa, the Hesakwa, the Atakwa, the Otanikwa, and the Khorikwa. And those tribes has got soft boundaries between them. And each one has got a paramount chief, like they call paramount chief, but I call myself, in the old dialect of the Khoi Kuap, Kai Bia, which means the great chief.
The San people, also known as the San Bushmen or the Basarwa or Barsarva, are indigenous hunter-gatherer people traditionally inhabit the Kalahari Desert region of southern Africa. They are considered one of the oldest cultures in the world, with a history dating back tens of thousands of years. The San people have a deep connection to their land and have traditionally relied on hunting wild game and gathering of edible plants for their survival. They have developed intricate knowledge of their environment, including tracking skills, plant identification, and survival techniques in arid and harsh conditions. The San people have a unique language in the Khoisan language family, characterized by their use of click consonants. These languages are among the oldest, most distinctive in the world.
Ovoko.
Ovoko.
Koko.
Coco.
Dadi to hai zum ta just kan owan. Ton.
Da.
Ton. Hai zum ta dadi to a. Hai to. Tê to số được cổ khi cổ cái ta cái thủ cổ cái cổ cái cổ ngồi cái số không bút cái ngồi cái to số tê khi anh cổ số đi nào.
Historically, the San people faced significant challenges due to colonization, land dispossession, and discrimination. They were displaced from their ancestral lands and often subjugated to forced assimilation into mainstream societies by both the European imperialist and modern Bantu politicians in their ancestral lands. And additionally, their traditional way of life faced disruptions due to changes in land use, development, and conservation efforts. Despite these challenges, the San people have maintained their cultural heritage and continue to strive for recognition, land rights, and preservation of their unique way of life. And also, it is important to note that the term Bushmen or San have been used historically, but they can be considered somewhat pejorative or outdated. Many prefer to be referred to by their specific ethnic names of their self-identified names such as Naro, or Mani, or Mun, to acknowledge their distinct identities and diversity within their broader San cultural group. The Nama people, also known as the Namakwa or Namakoi, are an ethnic group primarily living in Namibia and South Africa. They are part of the larger Khoi ethnic group, which also includes the Khoi people. The Nama people have a rich cultural heritage and a history that predates European colonization and the Bantu expansion. Traditionally, they are semi-nomadic pastoralists who herd livestock such as sheep and goats. They have developed a close relationship with the arid and semi-arid regions of southwestern Africa, which includes the Namib Desert. The Nama people have their own language, also called Nama or Khoegovab, which is a member of the Khoisan language family. The language is also characterized by its use of click consonants, similar to other languages spoken by Khoisan groups. Historically, the Nama people, like other indigenous groups in the region, experienced significant disruption and oppression during the colonial period. They faced dispossession of their land, conflict with European settlers, and forced labor under colonial rule. In recent times, there have been efforts. Despite these challenges, the San people have maintained their cultural heritage and continue to strive for recognition, land rights, and preservation of their unique way of life. And also, it is important to note that the term Bushmen or San have been used historically, but they can be considered somewhat pejorative or outdated. Many prefer to be referred to by their specific ethnic names of their self-identified names such as Naro, or Mani, or Ngun, to acknowledge their distinct identities and diversity within their broader San cultural group. The Nama people, also known as the Namakwa or Namakoi, are an ethnic group primarily living in Namibia and South Africa. They are part of the larger Khoi ethnic group, which also includes the Khoi people. The Nama people have a rich cultural heritage and a history that predates European colonization and the Bantu expansion. Traditionally, they are semi-nomadic pastoralists who herded livestock such as sheep and goats. They have developed a close relationship with the arid and semi-arid regions of southwestern Africa, which includes the Namib Desert. The Nama people have their own language, also called Nama or Khoisan, which is a member of the Khoisan language family. The language is also characterized by its use of click consonants, similar to other languages spoken by Khoisan groups. Historically, the Nama people, like other indigenous groups in the region, experienced significant disruption and oppression during the colonial period. They faced dispossession of their land, conflict with European settlers, and forced labor under colonial rule. In recent times, there have been efforts to promote and recognize and preserve the Nama cultural heritage. The Nama people have advocated for land rights, cultural revitalization, and increased political representation. They continue to maintain their cultural practices, including traditional ceremonies, music, and oral traditions. And it's also worth noting that the Nama people have faced social and economic challenges, including poverty, limited access to resources, and marginalization. However, they remain resilient to continue to assert their rights, promote their culture, and work towards improving their communities. So, these people are in the first group of the pure Khoisan ethnic groups, and in the upcoming video I'll explain about their various mixed descendants who in South Africa are known as coloureds, who are mixed either by the Germanic Dutch and English or the Bantu people, or a cocktail of all the ethnicities found in Southern Africa, such as the Cape Coloureds. So that said, let's discuss about the Khoisan's blackness and why the Khoisan people are not black-skinned as other African groups, such like the West Africans, Bantus, Kushites, Pygmies, and Nilotes. Well, the Khoisan people of Africa have a different skin color compared to other African groups. The reason for this is related to the intensity of ultraviolet radiation or sunlight in their respective regions. People develop different levels of pigmentation in response to UV exposure. In regions where the ultraviolet intensity is temporary, such as during high summers in the tropics, the tan is also temporary. In high altitude regions with permanent high ultraviolet intensity, like the subcontinental massif under the equator of Africa, races have evolved a permanent tan. Examples of such races include Bantoid groups and West Africans, Pygmies, Nilotes, and Kushites. But the Khoisan, however, did not have a permanent tan. Khoisan babies are born with a pale complexion and do not darken significantly unless they are exposed to high ultraviolet sunlight. Most Bushmen, a fraction of the Khoisan, live with minimal clothing under African sunlight and therefore have a temporary tan, similar to other light-skinned Africans who follow similar practices, who have similar effects, such as the ancient Egyptians, whose skin color is reddish tan, similar to the Khoisan people. And skin color is also an adaptation to local environmental conditions and is not a reflection of intelligence, evolutionary fitness, or African identity. It is important to consider the body's need in different environments and provide necessary provisions. Human beings are a cultural race and have an ability to adapt to their environment to suit themselves. And also, not to forget, the Khoisan people have a faint yellow or apricot cast to their complexion, which is not similar to the flesh-tone pink complexions of Europeans, in which this is the natural skin color of the Khoisan. So, to end this video, the Khoisan people are not black. If they have to be black, they need to have black skin. In which, for those black supremacist Afrocentrics who think that everything African or everybody who lives in Africa or anyone who is indigenous in Africa should have a darker skin tone. This is a stereotype created by the European imperialists. And now the funny thing is, Afrocentric black supremacists are pushing this idea of blackness. Africa is diverse. There are a lot of different people. And there are a lot of different phenotypes. There are a lot of different skin colors. There are a lot of different hair textures. And this diversity is what makes Africa special. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this exploration. If you like it,
So I'm gonna stop there. This was a really good video. I could go more on my opinion about black and non-black, and my opinion is just my opinion, and I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna go into what I feel, what is black and what is not black. And I think he's right. The Khoi people, I don't believe it's black, and I think there's only one race of people, the human race, and there's a lot of ethnic groups out there, and the Khoi people is an ethnic group, just like Europeans. You have different Europeans, Italians, British, Irish people. They might come from the same type of mutation, and we do know that the white skin is a mutation, but they're different ethnic group, and I believe the only black people on earth are Black Americans, because that is what we would categorize as. I think Nigerians, they do have black skin, but they're Nigerians. And then you have your tribes within side Nigerians. Just like if you go to India, there are people who are darker than me, but they're not considered black. And I don't believe that your skin color should say what is your race or your ethnicity. I think where you come from, your mother's land and everything should say, hey, this is who you are. That's why I don't believe I am not an African American. If Europeans here in America don't call themselves Europeans American, then I am an American. I am a Black American. They are a white American. But anyway, off of that, this was an amazing video. I loved every bit of it. I wish there was more. I got to see if there's more on it, because the Khoi people that are from South Africa, if South Africa is supposed to be the place where life begins, I believe that. If life began in South Africa, then whatever ape-like creature that came down from the tree stood upright and then started pushing its way up through Africa, especially probably when most of the continents were closer, not Pangea, but closer. And these people, the Khoi people, are one of the oldest tribes in the world. Then these people are the one that made just about everyone. And I will go off on a limb because they have Asian features, but Asians have their features. And we all know that everybody migrated up, and then they went through Europe and Asia, all this stuff. I think the Khoi people their people just evolved and kept evolving. And like the video said, you adapted to your new habitat, and that's why they look Asian, but Asian people look just like them. Let's call a spade a spade. And this video was fascinating. I'm going to do another video about the people of Africa, because one thing I'm going to say, our skin is beautiful. Our skin is probably the most powerful thing on this earth. And that's why we allow the minority of the world, the Europeans, run everything, because they want it for themselves. They want to be us so bad, and we're the natural inhabitant of this world. If you look at, there more of dark-skinned people on this earth than white people. But anyway, I love seeing this. I love seeing our beautiful people's skin. Like, there's nothing more than seeing a black person or a darker skinned melanin person. It's nothing. And again, I know we have a lot of skin. I'm not just saying just like somebody my color. I'm talking about us, and we know who we are. Um, it's nothing better. And I can't wait to find another video. And if you know more about this subject, again, let me know. I'm here to learn. This was fascinating. I want to know more. I want to dive deep and more tribes in Africa, because look at this guy right here. This dude looked tough. I mean, that's dope. He look at his skin, that dark skin, like bro, that's we are some beautiful people. So that's it. I will leave it there. This was React with Rob. Until next time, I am out.